Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Arbuckle. Welcome back to another video. So a few months ago I made a video called Best Strategy in Fortnite Battle Royale, How to Win Every Game, and since then that video has popped off as well as several other YouTube videos showcasing this strategy. And I wanted to make somewhat of an update video for this strategy. I still stand by this strat being the best one in Fortnite to win as many games as possible, especially when playing with a squad. But since I made that original video, there's a lot of things have changed, and there's a lot of you have to compensate for now that a lot of people are starting to pick up on this strategy. So if you didn't already know, the strat takes place behind the Wailing Woods between the giant man-made wooden house in the back, all along the edge of the map until you get to the river. So basically the idea originally was to land at the giant house in the back, hit that house, and then work your way along the side of the map there where there's not a lot going on. You could hit the ice cream truck, there's a barn in the back, there's a little shed, there's two farmhouses, there's a mini barn area and another house, there's another big barn with a field, there's two other houses. There's a lot of houses along this area to hit that a lot of people don't tend to go to because it is out in the middle of nowhere and it's not near anything. So that's why this strategy was so effective. But now that people are starting to pick up on this strategy because of my video and a lot of other videos, we kind of have to compensate for that. So generally I would not recommend doing this strategy unless you're playing with at least one teammate. Landing out in the middle of nowhere is kind of risky when you're playing by yourself. I know a lot of you guys are really good at the game, but landing out in the middle of nowhere is it can get really boring. And it can be very annoying when there's not a lot to hit, and if you're playing by yourself, if someone's already been there, it's going to take you forever to get somewhere that might actually have something good. So generally I do this strategy only when I'm playing with a squad. Now I used to go to the main house in the back, the man-made wooden house in the back that I used to call Count Olaf's house, but I no longer do that, and the reason for that is because this is the start of the strategy and at the end of the strategy. So let's say that the beginning of the strat starts at that house and the end of the strat ends at the house near the river on the mini-map. Now, as you can see, if I land at that original house, I'm at the end. I'm nowhere in between. If someone lands here, I'm screwed because they're going to be in between and I'm not going to get to go. I have to go one direction to follow the strategy. If I land in the middle and I see someone else land at the big house, I can turn around and work my way to the river. I can go away from them and loot all the houses before they even get a chance to get there. So I like to try to land around the farmhouses in between so that I can look around, see where enemies are landing, hit all the stuff in the middle before they get out of their original drop-in location, and it just gives me much more of an advantage than landing at the very beginning and the very end of the strategy and having someone else land in the middle. So when we're playing with a squad, generally what we do is we have two people land at the Count Olaf house in the back, and then two people land at the farmhouses just below the hill where the ice cream truck is. Now, the loot that is on this side of the map, obviously there's loot in the main Count Olaf house in the back. There is a barn on the edge of the map that you'll see if you're working your way toward the ice cream truck that generally has a chest and items inside. There's also the ice cream truck, which generally has 1 to 2 chests. And then there's the two farmhouses there at the bottom of the hill. Now, another cool spot that a lot of people don't tend to check out that I always go to is the little shed that is on the edge of the map directly across from the two farmhouses that are out in the middle of nowhere there. If you go towards the edge of the map from those two houses, you'll see that there is a little shed slash barn area that almost always has a chest up top and loot downstairs once you open the door, which is a really cool spot. And then if you head up toward the river, you'll run into another house, another barn, and if you keep going toward the river even more along the river bed there is two more houses to hit, which is really cool. And then in between that and the Wailing Woods, there's a lot of other barns, houses. But what's really nice about this side of the map is that a lot of people don't tend to come out here because, again, it is out in the middle of nowhere. There's no really name on the map for this area, which gives you plenty of space to be able to run around and loot stuff without running into people. Now, I know a lot of you guys like playing very aggressive, like running into players 24/7, but if you're playing with your team, with a team, and you actually want to try to run a strategy and do well in the game, this is the strategy to try. It works very well. After hitting all these houses, generally we'll move to the circle, and it ends up working out pretty well. Now, the only issue with this strategy is there's not a lot of times where we're actually in the circle. Now, I know the circle is random and it's not in the same spot every game, but generally with this strategy, because we are at the top of the map, we tend to have to move at least a little bit of a distance. Sometimes it's not that far. Most of the time it's not that far, but sometimes you'll get stuck running a good distance depending on where the circle is. But again, guys, I think it's a great strategy to start off. If you get your squad, everybody can land, get a lot of good stuff, work your way to the circle, and you have a really good chance of winning the game. But anyway, guys, that's really the video. If you guys have any more tips to add for the strategy, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Can we be friends?